Hi, we are the Voltes 3. I'm Michelle Langasanas with Santa Maria. We're going to report about solar-powered home. So, ano ba yung operating principle ng solar panels? So, grid-tied systems store energy in the power grid. The solar panels harvest and turn sunlight to DC or direct current. The inverter turns to DC direct current into alternating current or AC. During the solar power will run through a switchboard, thus powering appliances. So, yung solar panel kasi is pag nag-direct, yung mga nakukuha kasing ah, current na, yung mga nakukuha kasing sunlight is nagiging ano siya, direct current. Eh, hindi naman yun pwede sa mga appliances. So, may mga ginagamit na device para maging ano siya, maging AC o alternating current para magamit sa bahay. May mga switchboard siya na ginagamit. So, ano ba yon? Parts and function ng mga yung mga ginagamit para mag-convert siya sa yung electricity to AC para magamit sa bahay. First is solar panels generate direct current or DC. Direct current is not ideal for home use as it's susceptible to power loss and attracts high maintenance costs. Of course, modern appliances use only AC, so conversion is required. However, solar panels are not able to convert the DC to AC on their own. This is where the solar inverter comes in. Older solar systems had just one central inverter and later converted to the more efficient string inverter. A string inverter converts the voltage from several solar panels connected in a single array, and there may be several of this large installation. So, sa solar panels kasi, yung nagja-generate kasi ng galing sa sunlight is yung direct current lang. So, ngayon, hindi kasi gumagana yung direct current sa mga appliances. Ngayon, ngayon, merong mga device na ginagamit doon, yung mga switchboard is, ang tawag doon is yung inverter. Ngayon, sa may inverter, magiging AC siya para magamit para sa mga appliances. Ngayon, minsan, pag mataas yung mga kilowatts na nakukuha natin, hindi pwede na tayo hindi magbayad ng kuryente and minsan, pwede bang sila yung magbayad sa atin? Next. So, merong mga gamit pa na katulad ng microinverter. This problem is largely overcome by installation of microinverters. Microinverters convert to DC to AC at the panels level and are connected to the back individual panels. Some microinverters can accommodate several panels. Solar panels. Solar panels feature photovoltaic cells that are silicon-based. The PV cells are capable of converting irradiance from the sun into DC electricity. Cells within the panel interconnect to one another through tiny cables. For efficiency, solar panels are connected together to create solar array known as a string. A system may have several strings. So, sa mga string nagko-connect yung mga, kumbaga kasi di ba may conductor, and then doon na siya mismo manggagaling, and then pag inopen mo yon, nakakonect na doon lahat ng appliances, and then yung direct current, magiging ano na siya, yung direct current magiging alternative current na siya na pwedeng igamit sa mga appliances. So, ito yung itsura niya. Solar panel. Ito yung solar panel. Sunod yung inverter. And yung utility grid. Yung utility grid, yung mga kable na nakikita natin sa mga poste. Yun yung utility grid. Net metering. The net metering is a billing mechanism that credits solar energy system owners from the electricity they add to the grid. The net meter or two-way meter capable of measuring power going in both directions, from the grid to your house and vice versa. So, ito yung itsura ng the net metering. So, merong solar array, yung sunlight mapupunta sa may solar panel, and then yung solar array, yung DC current mapupunta sa may inverter, and then yung direct current magiging AC, yung grid side inverter magiging AC. And then mapupunta siya sa may mga connectors, yun yung yung conductor. And then pwede siyang yung conductor is pwede sa may yung conductor lang at meron din na conductor para sa mga utility. Yun yung net metering yung makikita sa may mga poste. And then yung AC mapupunta sa mga sa mga saksakan ng mga appliances kasi yung AC ang magpapagana ng yung electricity ng AC ang magpapagana sa mga appliances. Parts and interconnection. Sa parts interconnection is yung solar panels and then mapupunta sa may switch para maging yung 'di ba yung direct current mapupunta sa may switch and then magiging AC siya. AC circuit breaker box and then ito yung household socket, 'di ba? Ito yung mga sasaksakan natin ng mga appliances and doon tayo makakakuha ng electricity. And then yung electric kilowatt meter and then pwede rin pwede rin siyang gumana parang iikot din siya papunta sa may mga electricity grid, yun yung cable. And then ito parang ganito siya gumana. Then, di ba yung solar panel and then MPPT and this DC protection and then DC to AC converter and then AC protection and then pupunta sa isolator and then magta-transform then may transformer and then magiging main AC grid. So, maximum power point tracker, MPPT, we know that the solar intensity varies through the day, hence to exert maximum possible DC power from the solar panel MPPT is used. DC and AC protection, the inverter comes with an inbuilt DC and AC protection unit that ensure protection against overvoltage, current, and other faults occurring in the system. An AC and DC switches are integrated with the inverter. DC to AC converter, it helps in converting the direct current generate the solar power into the unusable alternating current. So, yung grid side kasi is lang siya, pang maga lang siya nagagamit. And then, wala siyang backup battery. So, pag walang kuryente, hindi rin magagamit yung yung solar panel. And then, ano ba yun? So, pag yung inverter box, battery box, yun, meron siyang switch na kusa na magsasara siya pag may possibly na tumaas yung yung high voltage at maging cause ng yung parang mag-short circuit. Ganun. Pag ganung meron siyang switch na kusang magsasara. Yun lang. Isolator. An isolator is used to isolate the supply from the inverter to the grid in case of any failure. Ayun yung sinabi ko kanina. Na yung isolator, yung nagsiswitch off siya pag alam niyang pwedeng mag-fail yon. And then grid inverter can be transformed less or with transformer attached to synchronize the inverter output voltage with respect to the connected grid voltage. The external transformer is connected between the inverter and grid to ensure synchronization between them.
Solar-powered home. Sizing, wire sizing. So number 1 is TW or thermoplastic wire. moisturized, resistant, and flame retardant. Next po. So number 2 is the THW or thermoplastic heat resistant wire moisture resistant and flame retardant. So itong wire na to is pwede siya sa ano siya, nagre-resistant siya ng wire na kung saan nagmo-moisture yung init na nanggagaling sa wire. Next po. 3 is THHN or thermoplastic high heat resistant nylon coated designed for specific insulation material, temperature, rating, and condition of use. So ito yung example niya. Next. Number 4 is THHN or similar siya sa THWN. Tapos expect it is water resistant, adding the W into acronym. So THWN is rated for up to 167 or 75 degrees Celsius in wet environment, but its successor THWN2 is rated for 90 degrees Celsius in both wet and dry environments. So historically, THNN and THWN were separated wires, but now you'll typically find the capability combined in the THHN or THWN design. So next. So note po is, here's a breakdown to help some sense of lettering the T. The T stands for thermoplastic insulated cable, and A is single H means wire is heat resistant, or HH means the wire is heavy resistant. So kapag ka H daw is ang ibig sabihin nun ang wire pwede siya sa mainit. So kapag ka double H naman, pwede siya sa mga wire na heavy resistant na kung saan matataas na na temperature. So ang N naman means nylon coated. The added W signifies that the wire is also resistant to water. So next po. So PV wires. This type is an exclusive kind of wire created for PH applications. This cable behave extremely well in very hot temperature, the other harsh environmental condition. Its special characteristics compared to other wire is its insulation and outer sheath, which is made up of XLPE or EPR and XLPE, or ISAN acronym for across-link polyethylene. So XLPE is a thermosetting polymer, meaning that the material is cured under heat, and in that process forms bonds in a directions, forming a three-dimensional matrix. And ang EPR means ethylene propylene rubber. So yun po ibig sabihin nun. Next slide po. So ayan naman siya yung mga sizes and mga itsura ng mga wires. So meron siyang number 3 gauge, 6 gauge, and 8 gauge hanggang 14 gauge. Tapos ito yung mga sizing na kung saan ang AWG cables wire sizes mula sa 40 AGW hanggang 16. So yan po yung mga itsura at mga sizes po niyan. Ganon din po sa baba. Yan po yung totoong itsura po nila sa personal. So next po. So next slide po. So table 310.15. So ambient temperature adjustment for raceways of or cable exposure to sunlight or above rooftops. Distance above rooftops to bottom of raceway or cable. So on roof, 0 to 13 millimeter or 0 to 1/2 inches. So kapag nasa roof siya, kailangan yung size, yung distance above ng raised cable is nasa 0 or 0 to 13 millimeter kapag ang init is 33. So ganoon din po sa Fahrenheit. Dito sa may 16 naman. So pangalawa is above roof is 13 millimeter to 1/2 inches. So same lang din sila. Then above 90 millimeter to 300 millimeter, or kung i-convert natin siya sa inches is 3.5 inches to 12 inches. Then ang degree Celsius niya is 17 and sa kabila is 30. So next is above 300 millimeter to 900 millimeter in inches, 12 inches to 36 inches. Next po. So ayan yung mga sizes niya, no? Hindi ko na siya isa-isa at masyado siyang marami. Nakikita naman siya sa table na kung saan yung itong AWG is yun yung mga wire, tapos ito yung converter niya. So square inches, square millimeters.
Wait lang, di ko marinig.
Sige po, next.
Ayan,
Next slide po, next slide. So, step in PV system conduction sizing. Number 1 is look for the zinc rating of PV cell. So, number 2, multiply that by 2 safety factors and continuous duty. Number 3, refer on table 310.15 B16 for size of wire. 4 is refer on the table 310.15 B2A for ampacity correction due to ambient temperature more than 3 or 30 degrees Celsius. So number 5 is refer on table 310.15 for ambient temperature adjustment to conduct or wire distance from the roof. So number 6, for adjustment due to more than 3 wires inside the conduct. And number 7 is find the adjustment due to voltage drop. And lastly, the value obtained in last step will be the basis for the size of wire to be used in the PV system. Next po. So, sample siya ng, ito yung samples problem ng PV system conductor. So, find the proper wire size for a grid-tied PV system consists of 3 JA solar panel connected in series with specs at the previous slide. So, step 1, look for the rating of PV cell. So, ang rating is nasa 9.75. So step 2 is multiply by 2, and so yan. Multiply by 2, so naging siya 9.78 9.75 times 1.25 times 1.25 and equal siya sa 15.23. So ganun din siya sa 3. For a size of a wire, the table indicates number 14. So yung size na hinahanap ng problem or ang hinahanap na size sa problem is number 4 siya, which is ang THHN with ampacity of 25 amperes. Since number 14, AWG is not the best practice for PV system, use number 12, HHN with ampacity of 300 amperes. So next po. So ganun lang din siya sa example, ano lang siya. So step 4 is ampacity correction due to ambient temperature. Since Philippines ambient temperature is around 37 degrees Celsius and ang naka-indicate ay dito is 30 times 0.900 or 9,127 amperes. Step 5, ambient temperature adjustment to roof wire distance for 1/2 in above roof. 37 plus 22 equals siya sa 59 degrees Celsius. So the table na naka-indicate is 27 plus 20 or 0.71 is equals to 19.17 amperes. So since 1971 or 19.71 ampere is greater than 15.23 ampere, our selected wire is number 12, wire will fitted to the system. So yun, ang pinili nilang wire is number 12 siya, na kung saan yun yung suitable sa problem na yun. So since there's only 2 wires inside the conduct, this step can be now be passed. Adjust to voltage drop 3%, then use the formula VD to IR. R is equals to K L over A. So VD is equals to 2, 9.3, and 12.9, 0.25, and 6,530 is equals to 0.92 volt or 0.92. So degree percent VD is equals to 0.92 over 32.26 times 100% is equals to 2.85%. So 0.92 over 96.78 times 100% is equals to 0.95. Then since 2.85% is greater than 3, our selected number 12 wire will be fitted to the system is equals to 0.95% and 6. So yeah. But since 2.85 is bit near to 3, it will be better to use number 10 THHN wire for additional safety factor and for future expansion. So same lang din yata siya ng problem. Next slide lang po siya. So ang note po is K is equals to direct current constant. This is constant representing the direct current resistance for a 1,000 circular miles conductor that's 1,000 feet long at an operating temperature of 75 degrees Celsius. The direct current constant value you should use for copper is 12.9 ohms and 21.2 ohms for aluminum conductor. The K constant is suitable for alternating current circuits where the conductor do not exceed number 1 over 0. So SPD sizing. The rule of simple incising the surge protection device basically is UC rating for the SPD should match the system voltage or a bit higher to 15% to 25% for SPDs to attain a longer lifespan. So therefore, in reference to the problem in conductor sizing, for the DC side, use SPD with UC rating of 100 volts to 120 volts. For the AC naman is use SPD with the UC rating of 230 volts to 75 volts. So nakikita naman siya yung pagkakaiba nila. So next po. So ang SPD specs naman is nominal discharge current IMAX. So maximum discharge current UC naman is maximum continuous operating voltage or MCOV. So ang UP naman is voltage protection rating or VBR or surge voltage rating or clamping voltage. Next po. So yun lang po.
Nakamute ka. Nakamute ka.
Nakamute pala ako. So dito naman tayo sa inverter sizing. So inverter sizing, dapat yung inverter is approximately equal to the power rating of the solar arrays. Or maybe a bit greater of around 10% to 20%. So bakit? So therefore, if your solar system is rated at 2000 watts, you'll need a solar inverter that is about 2000 watts. So ito yung isang dahilan kung bakit dapat magkamukha. An inverter that is way below the power rating of solar arrays cannot maximize the power of the solar arrays are capable of. So, halimbawa, yung solar arrays mo is 3,000 watts and then yung inverter mo is 2,000 lang. So, nakadepende sa inverter yung solar arrays. So, sayang yung 1,000 na solar arrays, hindi siya magagamit. So, ito pa isa. And an inverter that is way above the power rating of solar arrays will have a noticeable drop in efficiency. So, in our example, which is rated at 900 watts, so, times lang natin sa 1.1, then magiging 990 watts. So, pwede na natin siyang i-round off to 1 kilowatt grid tie inverter. So, yun yung inverter sizing. So next is solar panel orientation. So, saan nga ba dapat nakaharap o saan yung magandang tilt angle ng isang solar panel? So, on those country located dun sa mga northern hemisphere, so dun sa mga taas ng mga equator, dapat yung mga panels should be facing south direction for maximum sunlight. And then, dun naman sa mga southern hemisphere na nasa baba ng equator, it should be face north. So, dito sa Philippines, nasa above tayo ng equator, so dun tayo sa may northern hemisphere, the solar panel should be facing south direction for maximum efficiency. So, dapat sa Philippines, laging sa south nakaharap yung solar panels para sa maximum efficiency. So, sa general rule, for optimal annual energy production is to set the solar panel tilt angle equal to the geographical latitude. Essentially, the closer a solar panel is located to the equator, the more the panel should be pointing straight up. So the closer the panel is to the poles, the more they should tilt towards the equator. So sa Philippines, the solar power tilt should be 12 degrees to 14 degrees. So next, so zero bill computation. So paano ba mag-compute ng zero bill para wala ka nang babayaran sa mga cellphone, meron kang ganyan. So ayan, solar powered home grid tag. So kukunin mo muna yung ano mo, kilowatt hour mo per month. So halimbawa ayan, 300 kilowatt hour per month mo, and then yung 300 kilowatt hour per month mo na yun is i-divide mo sa 30 days. So siyempre, pag dinivide sa 30 days, magiging 10 kilowatt hour per day. And then i-convert mo lang yung 10 kilowatt hour per day na yun to watt hour para mas compatible siya dun sa mga solar panel natin. So equal sa 10,000 watt hour per day. So siyempre, yung solar power hub natin can only operate during the time na mayroong sunlight dito sa sa Philippines. So sa Philippines, yung average niya na peak sun hour na is 4.5 to 5.0. So kukunin natin yung median. So 5 hour per day, sabihin ng ganun. So yung 10,000 watt hour na yon for solar array rating, divide lang natin sa vibe, makukuha natin yung 2,000 watts. So yun yung solar array rating. So para sa assurance, para talagang wala ka nang babayaran, i-multiply uli natin siya sa 1.1. So equals to 2,200 watts. So kadalasan dun sa mga solar panels natin na 300 yung pinakang average ng So number of solar panels. So compute natin. So di ba yung array rating natin is 2,200 watts. I-divide natin siya sa 300 para and then equals to 7.33. So i-convert na natin siya sa 8 para sure na wala ka na talagang babayaran. Yan. So ganun mag-compute ng zero bill. And that's the end of the slide. So thank you.